This is kind of crazy.
That tells me it's on the offensive side.
I gave you a little hint. 2023 Heisman odds are out according to BetSighted, and I went down the list. It's not. I mean, maybe it's a top 20. I don't even know what it is, but all the way down at the list, tied with Marvin Harrison Jr. for Heisman odds, is a current Nebraska Husker. Rico, I'm going to give you 5 opportunities to guess who that may be.
Okay, so
on the text line, you can guess too. But
Casey Thompson seems a lot very easy. So I don't think it's Casey
Thompson.
Thompson.
Too easy. Yeah, it is not Casey Thompson.
You said it would help the odds. Tied with Marvin Harrison Jr., so it's got to be a running back or a receiver. I'm going to go with... Oh, that's a hard one. Anthony Grant.
Anthony Grant is not the pick.
Oh, okay.
Kelsey also not guessing Anthony Grant.
So it's wide receiver because there's no other running back that... I mean, A.J. Allen's the backup. I mean, he was good for 4 games, but there's no way he'd be up there with Heisman odds. No. Yeah, Marcus Washington.
That's not Marcus Washington.
Oh, my goodness.
No. Aaron kind of guessed A.J. Allen as well.
Is it Sims?
It's Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims, according to BetSighted, has equal odds, or actually, I think even a little bit better odds than Marvin Harrison Jr.
That would mean that he's the starter.
That would mean he's the starter.
Does Vegas know something we don't know?
Well, maybe Vegas just feels like
something that
new coach, got a new transfer.
Something that we've kind of been hinting at, but
yeah. Well, it's interesting. Obviously, with Casey Thompson going to have to sit out spring ball. Jeff Sims was targeted by this staff, and again, this is the benefit of having a name. It's a name out of the portal. Now, I'll run down the list as in totality because that part's kind of interesting, and we'll get to that too. But the list is interesting. There's a lot of guys that are kind of co-starters on here.
I forgot about Jeff Sims.
You forgot?
I totally forgot that they brought in Jeff Sims. That's a problem.
Richie Rich guessed it. Jeff Sims. He said I didn't even look that one up.
Good job,
congratulations. So 2023 Heisman Trophy odds again by BetSighted. Caleb Williams, of course, your favorite, plus 400. Drake May, plus 1,000, second at North Carolina. They really dropped off at the end of last year, but he's a fantastic freshman. How about this? Michael Penix Jr. tied for third. Of course, it's kind of dead in the water in Indiana a couple years ago.
I'm pretty sure he led the nation in passing yards.
Yeah.
So that's not a surprise.
It's not surprising, but
for him to be up there preseason.
Yeah. But, the one-time preseason Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He is tied with his odds plus 1,200 with Jordan Travis, who's Florida State's getting a lot of love preseason for next year because of Jordan Travis. I don't know if I'm quite bought in on 1 year.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
He's tied with like I said, Michael Penix Jr., Jordan Travis tied with Bo Nix for Heisman odds.
My guy.
Rounding out the top 5. Yeah, your guy.
Bo Nix is going to be, mark my words, save this right now. Bo Nix will be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. Not saying he's going to win it, but he'll be in New York.
I could see it. Oregon get it rolling. Bo Nix is a good player. Sam Hartman at Notre Dame plus 1,800.
Of course.
Comes in there. And then here's your first backup or guy that hasn't started, Drew Allar from Penn State plus 2,000. Apparently a lot of hype for Drew Allar. Jaden Daniels at LSU tied with that, as well as Joe Milton, who seems like he played at Michigan in 2016. I don't know how long ago it was.
Still playing college football. Okay.
He is.
Got it. Cool.
I would have figured his time would have ran up too, but he's going to take over for Hendon Hooker over there at Tennessee. Yeah, he's got to be that old.
Yeah.
Of course, the Ohio State quarterback, whoever takes over, will be up in the race. So Kyle McCord gets the plus 2,000 odds as well. And then we go to 2,500. The plus 2,500 is the new Clemson quarterback, Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
Quinn Ewers also tied at that spot. And then we get to the plus 3,000s. J.J. McCarthy is right there with Blake Corum, his teammate, of course, at Michigan. Brock Vandagriff might be the name to look out for at Georgia. Another name that look out for at Georgia, Carson Beck. So Brock Vandagriff is plus 3,000. Carson Beck, the other guy who's going to be battling out for that job, plus 4,000.
They were just like, whoever plays quarterback.
Right. Which is fair. I think the quarterback at Georgia, who's going for the three-peat next year, is going to have a pretty good chance at the Heisman. Then you have Ty Simpson, who's set to take over at Alabama. Dylan Gabriel, these are all plus 4,000. Dylan Gabriel, of course, at Oklahoma. Nick Singleton, the stud running back at Penn State. And Jeff Sims, the quarterback who might not even start at Nebraska.
Makes
And then
perfect
again,
sense to
plus
me.
5,000 Marvin Harrison Jr., who is more proven and better than just about everybody on the list.
100%, but he's a wide receiver.
But he's a wide receiver. So
now, if he started returning kicks and punts, then we could have a real discussion about it.
Yeah.
But he's just a wide receiver. I don't know. I mean, we had now I'm spacing on his name. Devontae Smith won the Heisman, but again, he was returning kicks and punts for Alabama and was just the best receiver in college football. But I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best receiver in college football in my eyes, at least.
Yeah. How about Brock Bowers? Where's the tight end love? I want to make a bet on Brock.
No Brock Bowers, because he's not going to return kicks and punts, and he's just going to be a tight end. So I don't think a tight end will really ever win the Heisman or come close to winning the Heisman, unfortunately for all of you tight end lovers out there. So no, the list makes sense until you get, lower into those numbers, but they just picking names and throwing them out there. And you would think if Nebraska is to have a successful season, your quarterback is going to have a successful season as well. And if Nebraska has a quarterback that's putting up numbers, you would think he'd get a little bit of Heisman love at some point. I mean, Adrian Martinez was getting Heisman love his second season preseason after his record-wise not great, statistically really, really good freshman season. So it's not a surprise. The only surprise is he going to start over Casey Thompson? And he'll have a leg up with Casey having to sit out all of the winter and a large portion of the spring, maybe all of the spring, and not get back till the summer with his shoulder surgery. So he'll have a leg up on Casey. Again, the coaches brought him in. The new coaching staff brought him in. He was a guy that they sought out and were able to bring into Nebraska. So that's another leg up. So Casey has a little bit of an uphill battle to fight to remain the starter for the Huskers.
Which is interesting too, because Casey, I say this enough because Trey Palmer gets a lot of love for what he's able to do, but somebody had to throw that ball in. And by the way, when he wasn't finding Trey Palmer deep, he was getting shellacked. And we're just one of the tougher quarterback seasons we've seen. Maybe it's somewhat detrimental. I mean, obviously he's played for two of the power programs in the nation now and had losing records at both of them, at Texas and Nebraska. So maybe that's kind of hurting him there. But, I saw the Jeff Sims move. I love it. I think it's great to bring in competition. I think it's great, obviously, with Nebraska. We saw this last year. If you don't have a number two, you could be in big trouble. Mm-hmm. And so, that looks good. It would just be really weird in my mind to see Casey Thompson not starting. He's a proven Power 5 starter and a pretty good one.
Well, I mean, it's just like his time at Texas where him and Hudson Card were splitting. So this isn't anything that he's not used to. It's not like he'll, be coming off the bench for the first time in his career. He's done it before, and he's been really good at it, coming off the bench or being the starter. So he's used to the competition. We'll see what happens. Jeff Sims, I don't think he was handed the job when he got to Georgia Tech, but I believe he started or played a decent amount as a freshman. So he's has the experience as a starter as well. But
he's there,
I don't
Adrian
know.
Martinez.
Yeah, I don't know if he's he's come off the bench all that much for Georgia Tech. So it's going to be a really interesting battle when Casey Thompson comes back from his injury. And we just have to wait and see. But I don't know exactly what type of offense they're going to run. They want to, do the fullback, the tight ends, the pro style, the huddles. And I think if you have the blocking, Casey Thompson has shown with his arm talent, with his accuracy, that I think he would thrive in that kind of offense. Now, if your offensive line is still a bit of a struggle and you need to move around a bit, Casey has shown that he can do that. But if you're looking at a guy who is more athletic and faster and can probably make more plays with his feet, I mean, that's going to be Jeff Sims. He's also shown that he has incredible arm talent in terms of strength. Accuracy has been a concern for him as long as he's been in college.
Yeah. And I know that he, part of the idea of coming here is maybe to lessen the reliability on his legs. So they kind of develop him a little bit more as a quarterback. But, that is just something that you have or you don't. You can't teach speed. You can't teach that sort of athleticism. And even if you listen to Kirby Smart, he said, moving on to their quarterbacks, which again, both those guys were on the list. He said, because they just came out of, it seems like a long time ago now, but JT Daniels, this was like 4 schools ago for JT Daniels. Yeah. But when he was with Georgia, he actually got the start over Stetson Bennett. Now Kirby Smart's saying, having learned from that, is that mobility is going to play a bigger factor in his quarterback choice moving forward. And so, maybe that's the case for Matt Rule and their staff too, as they kind of set things set their flag down in Nebraska's. Maybe they just want a mobile quarterback. And so Casey Top, nothing against him and his arm talent, but maybe just not the mobility they're looking for. Or maybe all this is just people in Vegas knowing that Nebraska fans like to bet on Nebraska. So, hey, throw a Nebraska guy in there.
Let's put the guy that transferred in. We'll just see what happens.
Some bets. We know we can get some bets.
No, don't put the guy that started last year. No, he's hurt, and we don't even know if he's going to play. Put this guy. I'm sure they'll put a couple dollars down on him.
Yeah.